Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Very musical, well done me. Today we're gonna have another sit down chatty video, kind of like the last one. If you haven't seen that video already, go and check it out. It is my favourite slash shows I consider the best of 2023 so far. But today we're going, instead of forwards, we're going back, because I'm going to have a chat about the shows that I think should be back in the West End slash on tour that I kind of miss. I will hopefully have thought of a better, snappier title by the time I upload this video, but if you are interested in my thoughts and about shows that I think should be back, then stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So yeah, I have been sat all day working. It is Sunday when I'm filming this and it's going to go out the following Sunday, fingers crossed. And I've been sat doing work all day on Sunday. I know it hurt, but I need to do it so that I'm ready for my actual week of work starting tomorrow. And I've been listening to cast recordings and random music throughout the whole day, and some really old favourites popped into my ears and I was like, oh my god, I should make a video. So this is what I'm doing. I have gone back through all of my lists of shows that I've seen since 2017. I previously mentioned this in last week's video. I write down a list of every show that I see every year, so there's ones ranging back from 2017 all the way up to the present day in 2023. I write a list every year, and mostly I finish the year by counting up how many shows I've seen, and I put a little total at the end. I do it on my phone. It's become a little tradition of mine, and through listening to the music today and also through looking back at my lists, I've created a list of 10 shows that I think need to come back because I miss them, basically. I also have 3 honourable mentions which I'd love to see again, but at the same time don't want to watch again because they broke me, and there's only so much emotional damage that can be hit to my heart through theatre. So I love them back, but they made me cry. Let's start with those, and they are Our Ladies of Perpetual Succour, which I saw at the Duke of York's Theatre. It is an amazing piece of theatre, it's an amazing show, but the ending of the show hit quite hard to me because I was going through something that is talked about a lot in the show at the time, and yeah, it kind of killed me emotionally. So I'd love it to be back, but I don't know if I'm emotionally stable to see it again, especially as the thing that hit me initially seeing that show is actually become more of my real life through family members. So yeah, less to say about that the better, but I'd love it back. I don't know if I could actually see it again. Second on that list is Amelia. Again, an amazing piece of theatre, but again the last 10 minutes broke me. It was an amazing show and it did so much for theatre in the lockdown era. It was one of the shows that you could stream for only £1 or £2, which made it very much a place for people to be encouraged to watch theatre, but without the normal theatre based prices. But yeah, the end of the show broke me a little bit, and again I don't think I'm emotionally stable to watch that again. thirdly and finally on my miniature list, before I go into the actual list, we have Falsettos, which is at the other palace. Again, same reason, the ending of that show broke me. There is many a show that break me, like the last 30 minutes or so, I'm like floods of tears. There is a fourth one that could be on this list, which is Big Fish. That hit like something else. It was an amazing piece of theatre too. Yeah. Again, don't think I'm emotionally stable enough to watch that. Okay. Moving on to the shows I do believe should come back. Let's get into those. And we're going chronological order. From 2017 we have In the Heights. Now, I have been on this pedestal for a very long time. Is pedestal even the right word? It's like, I've been on this stand for a very long time, that I feel like In the Heights should come back in some shape or form for a long time. We haven't had it since 2017 in London, and no one has ever toured it. It is an incredible show. In my eyes, it is the best that Lin-Manuel Miranda has done. I love myself some Hamilton, and I can truly enjoy the music, but something for me about the show In the Heights just hits different. The movie version that was out a few years ago was great, but it doesn't compare to the actual thing in a theatre. The In the Heights that was in London in 2017 was in the temporary King's Cross Theatre, I believe it had as a name. It shared a theatre with the Railway Children, and it was round the corner from another temporary theatre, and it was so good. The cast were incredible as well, and I just think that we should bring back In the Heights in some shape or form in the not too distant future. Thank you very much. It's just a great show. It's amazing. It needs to return. Okay. Half a Sixpence is next on my list, still in 2017. This one has a bit of a personal love for me, because Half a Sixpence was in fact my first safety show. I have had shows through my theatre lifetime which have been a show that I have returned to over and over again because it has just been safe. It's been my happy place. I have had a few, and Half a Sixpence even was my first. I saw it 3 times in the West End, the third time being closing, and I just have so many memories around that show. And yeah, there was a version produced even by Kilworth House last year, which I sadly missed out on watching, but I feel like it needs to come back again in some shape or form, whether they do a tour version, whether they do another one in London, although I feel like they won't for the time being, just because there is so much theatre out there right now. But I just feel like Half a Sixpence needs a new life and a big life, and yeah, it is a great show with such a cheerful, it's just so good, and I feel like it needs to come back. So there we go. Final one for 2017, or that I saw in 2017, and the main reason for this video actually being created, because I've been listening to the cast recording off and on for the entire day today whilst I've been working. That is Wind in the Willows. It was my first jump into the London Palladium. It was over summer, and just everything about that show was so good. The music still to this day is epic. I still listen to it quite regularly. The cast that was created for that production as well was chef's kiss, and yeah, it was just so good. The set was simple but effective, and just everything about it was amazing. And I just think it needs to come back. Someone needs to do a production of that show because it is so good. And there is my ending to this little Wind in the Willow section. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It needs to come back. Speaking previously about safety shows, another show I think needs to come back, and I don't mind how it is done, whether it be another concert version like the one we had last year, or whether it is a full-blown production of this show, but it is Kinky Boots. I again have so many memories about the show. I saw it 4 times in London, 1 time on tour, I believe is my current count. It is just an amazing piece of theatre. The story and the motto behind the whole show and the acceptance, I'm like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, I need it back. I kind of need it back. I truly enjoyed the concert version that we had last year, and the love in that room for that show was insane. And speaking of insane, the person who played the role of Lola in that concert, Cedric Neal, I mean, we all know my obsession with that person, but yeah, to the point that when I saw them in Guys and Dolls earlier this year, and it got towards the end of the show when everyone's dancing and all that jazz in the standing area, I think I literally blurted out, "You were amazing, Kinky Boots, you need to come back." And I am not that kind of person. I'm not someone who will go to a person and say things to them unless I truly know them and I'm safe with them. But I was like, oh my god, I love you and you need to come back and do Lola. Yeah, I just think it's an amazing show with such an amazing like message, and I just feel like we need it. Like, one of my favourite ever theatre memories is being in the Adelphi Theatre on Cast Change night, I believe it was, plus it was Pride weekend. The atmosphere in that room was literally insane, and it has stuck with me forever. Like, since that happened, I've just loved it, and I think it needs to come back as a show because it was so amazing. Next on the list, I don't even know what number we're on right now, again from 2018, or when I saw it, it was 2018, and that's Five Guys Named Moe. A little lesser known show. Again, when I saw it, it was in a temporary theatre at the top of Marble Arch. I just thought it was insane. That production as well was amazing, and the cast, again, incredible. And just, yeah, everything about it was so cleverly done, and you left the theatre just feeling happy, and I feel like we need so much of that theatre right now. The kind of theatre you sit and you get engrossed in the show and then you leave and you literally can't stop smiling. That's the theatre we need in the world right now, instead of having repeats of Grease and Elf. No shade, but just put something else in the Palladium in the Dominion, please, please. But Five Guys Named Moe was absolutely incredible, and I just think it needs to come back in some shape or form. The way it was done at the Marble Arch Theatre was just like amazing, and the fact it felt like it was kind of in around was brilliant, and the fact that Act 1 ended in a conga line at the bar, just amazing. So yeah, that's why I think it needs to come back, just for the joy of the show, just the joy. Speaking not truly of joy, but of something that I feel needs to come back, because it just, I feel like it would be appreciated more now, but I'm not sure. And that is The Last Ship, which was a UK tour in 2018 if you are unaware of The Last Ship, it was part written or written completely by Sting, including most of the music, I believe. It was mostly based on his upbringing in the Steelyards, but obviously had more of a romantic theme. The initial run in Broadway was was led, I don't know what word to use. Rachel Tucker was in the Broadway version, and the cast in that show that toured was amazing, just full out amazing, and the show was just so lovely and kind of folky and kind of just brilliant. I feel like after having Fisherman's Friends recently, the people who enjoyed that show would possibly enjoy seeing The Last Ship. So yeah, that's why I feel it should come back. But I just really enjoyed the music of The Last Ship, and I feel like it needs to have some bringing back up and shouting about. Speaking, should I say, of bringing back a show, my next was the 2018 Sheffield Theatre version of Kiss Me Kate. Again, that cast was insane. Becca Locke, Dex Lee, Amy Richardson, I want to say. Could be wrong on that third one, but it was my first trip up to Sheffield, my first experience of the Crucible. To this day, when this snooker was on, I still say I've sat in that theatre, when it was actual theatre and not place for snooker. My first experience of Kiss Me Kate, I knew nothing going into that show, and I literally loved it. I don't feel like Kiss Me Kate has had a revival anytime soon. Feel free to tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I just think it's an amazing show, and I kind of feel like someone should bring it back, because it has something for everyone. If you cast it well, you will have the people of my era who will come to see an incredible cast, and you also have the, should we call them older theatre viewers, who will come for the story that they know and love. It's a moneymaker. I think, like I say, if you cast it well, it will just shine. They've done it with Oklahoma, they could do it with Kiss Me Kate. Just don't change it too much, don't make it too modern, just do a classic well. That's all I'm asking. But Kiss Me Kate is there. 3 left on my list, 1 you can probably guess. But before we get onto that, from 2020, before the whole world went to pot, I went to the Wolverhampton Grand and I saw a Wolverhampton Grand produced version of History Boys, and it blew my mind. I had been a fan of History Boys for a while before seeing it in the flesh on a stage, but my only experience previous to that was to see it on the film version with the cast we know and love, but to see it in the flesh was just something else. And again, like many on this list, I feel like it's been a while now and we need a new version or a new production of a well-loved show. The History Boys is just a great piece of theatre, and I feel like it needs to come back. You could bring some new and up-and-coming people into the show and make them stars. What more do you want? What is going on with me in this video? I don't know. But yeah, I just think it is about time for them to bring it back. Doing a tour, do something, do it now. 2 left, And next, let's just go for the elephant in the room from 2021. We have a little slightly unknown show. It's about a French woman. My channel name has kind of roots in a lyric from the show, kind of. I even have a poster up there. You can't see it, it's right up here. I want to bring back Emily, okay? Again, third one in this list, Happy Show, my safety show. Just amazing. I literally saw it twice and I'm gutted I didn't see it more. I just loved it with all my heart, and it introduced me to so many actors which I now follow their stuff religiously, and yeah, I really miss it. I still walking past, when I'm in London, I still walk past the Criterion and I feel like it's missing something. It's missing that show so much. It was a great place to put it, and yeah, it was just home for a short period of time. The Criterion was home, and this show full of amazing people was just a safe haven, and I feel like it needs to come back. Bring it back, put it somewhere in a nice small theatre and just do it well. Simple as. I'm gonna stop before I cry, and let's move on to the final one on this list. From 2021, we have a production that was only put in the Birmingham Rep, which to this day still hurts because it was such a funny, clever show, and that was What's New Pussycat. It was based on a book called bear with, she's gonna look it up. The History of Tom Jones by Henry Fielding. Thank you. But just, it had the songs of Tom Jones, which are like bops, and was written by Joe Pietro, who is the force behind Memphis and behind Diana the Musical, I believe. Yes. Just to name but a few. The Tox Avenger even. And it just, everything about it was just like feel good, free, happy, funny. The cast that they put together for it was incredible, and I am so gutted that it never got a further life. I was like 100% sure that someone would put it on somewhere, that it would have a London running or something, and I just to this day still don't understand how that did not happen, because it was just so brilliant and clever, and just I really enjoyed it, and I was still to this day gutted that it never went any further. I'm hoping somewhere down the line it will, but like I said, that happened in 2021 and it's now 2023, so the more time that goes by, the less likely that we are going to have some kind of revival or new run of that show, and I'm gutted. Okay, I'm gutted about that one. But yeah, that is pretty much that. I've rambled on for a good 20 minutes, but I just truly feel passionate about the shows mentioned. There are other shows that I feel like I'd love to see again, but maybe more just down to the cast or the production themselves, and not as a new production of something. Like, seeing the Legally Blonde Regent's Park Open Air Theatre show again would be amazing, because that cast were incredible and everything about it, and the people that I went with were just amazing, and I'd love to relive that day. However, I wouldn't necessarily bring the show back again. As much as I love that show, I don't think it needs to come back for a little bit longer. And on that bombshell, I am going to leave this video here. I just want to say thank you for listening to the ramblings of Rule, who has been thinking about this video all day while she's been listening to her cast recordings from way back when. Yeah, are there any shows out there that you think need a revival or a new production of that you previously saw? Let me know in the comments. But other than that, I'm going to leave you here because I've rambled enough. I love you all lots, and I hope to see you next time for a brand new video. Cheerio, farewell. Mwah.